So here's a twist to kick things off if you're a seahorse. Your dad is the one who gets pregnant, carries you for weeks, and goes through actual labor contractions to push you out into the ocean. Not a metaphor, not a joke. That's literally how this works. Let that sink in for a second, because it's about to get a whole lot weirder, and honestly a lot sadder from here before you even exist as a distinct little creature. Your parents go through this elaborate courtship that looks less like mating and more like an underwater dance recital. They swim side by side, mirror each other's movements, change colors together, and link tails while spiraling around a piece of seagrass for hours at a time. Some pairs do this every single morning for days before anything actually happens, just checking in, syncing up, making sure they're still on the same page. It's genuinely one of the more romantic-looking things you'll see in the ocean. But the romance is really just the opening act for something much stranger. Your mother doesn't carry you at all. Instead, she deposits her eggs directly into a specialized pouch on your father's belly, sometimes hundreds of them in one go, and then she just swims off like her job is done. Because it is, you spend the next 2 to 4 weeks developing inside your father's brood pouch, floating in a small internal ocean, absorbing nutrients through a placenta-like structure while your dad goes about his day, completely transformed into a walking, swimming incubator. He's got hundreds of you in there at once, all developing side by side, all completely dependent on his body doing the work that in almost every other species on the planet falls entirely on the mother. He still has to eat, still has to dodge predators, still has to survive, except now he's doing all of it while dragging around a belly full of your entire generation. Then one night, it happens. His body starts contracting over and over in a process that can stretch on for hours. He's pumping you and your hundreds of siblings out into open water in exhausting bursts, arching and flexing his whole body just to get you all out. By the time he's finished, he's visibly drained, completely spent, and you and your siblings are drifting out into the ocean completely alone. No welcome party. No dad sticking around to point you toward safety. He just did his part, and now it's entirely up to you to figure the rest out on your own, starting immediately. And here's where things go from strange to genuinely brutal. You're about the size of a grain of rice. You can barely control your own body in the water. And you're now floating in open ocean surrounded by predators who see you as nothing more than a bite-sized snack drifting by. Out of the hundreds of siblings you're just born alongside, statistically only about 5 of you will actually survive long enough to reach adulthood. Everyone else gets eaten within days, starves before they figure out how to feed themselves, or simply get swept into currents they can't survive. You're already losing this game before you've even had a real chance to play it. Your body isn't built to help you out here either. Unlike a normal fish, you don't have scales. You've got a series of bony external plates fused together into rings around your body, which makes you rigid, stiff, and about as graceful in the water as a bag of rocks tumbling downhill. You can't dart away from danger like most small fish can. You can't put on a sudden burst of speed to escape a predator's mouth. Some seahorse species are considered the slowest fish in the entire ocean, capable of moving just a few feet per hour when they're really pushing themselves. If something decides it wants to eat you, outrunning it simply isn't an option. It's not even on the table. Your entire survival strategy boils down to one thing: being sneaky and forgettable. You've got this incredible ability to shift your color and even your skin texture to match the coral, seaweed, or sponge you're hanging around, blending in so completely that predators swim right past you without ever noticing you're there. You spend most of your life gripping onto plants and coral with your tail curled tight, holding on for dear life, because you genuinely cannot fight against ocean currents on your own with that stiff little body of yours. If a storm rips you away from your patch of seagrass, you don't have the strength or the speed to swim back to it. You're just along for the ride at that point, wherever the current decides to take you, and more often than not. That ride ends somewhere with bigger mouths already waiting, and even if you somehow manage to dodge every predator and survive every storm that tries to sweep you away, your own body is working against you in a completely different way. You don't have a proper stomach. Your digestive system is so short and so inefficient that food passes through you almost immediately after you eat it, which means you have to eat constantly just to stay alive. We're talking thousands of tiny shrimp and plankton every single day. Non-stop grazing from sunrise to sunset, because if you go too long without eating, you can actually starve to death in a matter of hours, not days. So on top of being slow, stiff, and practically defenseless, you're also permanently, desperately hungry. Every single day of your life, with almost no margin for error if you somehow survive all of that and actually make it to adulthood, which is already a small miracle given how the odds are stacked against you from birth. You'll pick a partner and settle into a strange little daily routine together for as long as you both live. Every morning, you and your mate find each other in the same general area, swim in slow circles around one another, change colors, and basically perform a check in ritual to confirm the bond is still holding. It's oddly sweet, almost tender for a creature that spends every other hour of its life one wrong current away from being digested by something twice its size, but even that gentle little routine eventually leads right back into the same brutal cycle you started in. If you're male, your partner passes her eggs to you again. And now you're the one whose belly starts swelling, whose swimming gets even slower and clumsier than usual, whose body becomes even more exposed and vulnerable than it already was. You'll carry the next generation for weeks, growing more exhausted and more fragile with each passing day, until you go through that same grueling contraction process yourself, all while praying you don't get picked off by a predator mid-labor when you're at your absolute most defenseless. Being a seahorse means living slow in a fast world, being fragile in an ocean full of teeth, needing to eat almost constantly just to avoid starving to death, and somehow still being expected to carry and deliver the next generation, even after surviving odds that already killed off almost every sibling you were born alongside. You didn't get speed. You didn't get armor. You didn't even get a decent stomach. What you got was a body built almost entirely for hiding, and a life that demands you keep hiding successfully for years, just to have a shot at doing this whole exhausting process over again with your own kids, if this made you appreciate having actual swimming ability. Or honestly, just having a stomach that works properly. Drop a like, subscribe for more of these, and let me know in the comments which animal deserves the next breakdown.